Hello, and welcome back to Mystic English. Today, I want to share with you the story of a man who had nothing, and yet he gave the world everything. A man who was stripped of his freedom, locked away for 27 long years, and forgotten by many. And yet, he never let the prison bars break his spirit. This is not just the story of a leader. It is the story of a fighter, a dreamer, and a healer. A man who turned pain into peace and anger into forgiveness. The story of how Nelson Mandela walked a long road from a prisoner to the father of a nation. So stay with me until the end, because if you leave halfway, you'll miss the one timeless lesson from his life that could change the way you see your own struggles. And if you enjoy stories that inspire you, teach you English, and help you grow, please subscribe to Mystic English. Here, we don't just teach English, we share wisdom that can transform your life. A country was built on a cruel lie. A system of laws declared that one race was superior and another was less than human. A man was born into this world of injustice and vowed to fight it, no matter the cost. He spent nearly 3 decades in a cage, but he emerged as a symbol of hope. This is the story of Nelson Mandela, the man who walked a long road to freedom and changed his country, and the world, forever. Why did he choose peace over revenge? How did a nation find healing after so much pain? And how does his legacy of forgiveness still speak to us today? He was born Rolihlahla Mandela in a small village in the Transkei region of South Africa in 1918. A teacher later gave him the English name Nelson, a name he would carry for the rest of his life. He came from a royal family in the Thembu tribe, but his childhood was a simple one, spent herding cattle and listening to the stories of his elders. From a young age, he was known for his stubborn spirit and quiet determination. His intelligence and curiosity set him on a path of education that would take him far from his village. He went on to study at the University of Fort Hare, a college for Black students, where he was exposed to the harsh political realities of his country for the first time. It was there he began to actively protest against unfair student policies. These early protests were a training ground for the struggle to come. In 1941, he moved to Johannesburg, a bustling city full of promise and danger. He found work as a law clerk and continued his studies, eventually earning his law degree. But he could not ignore the cruel reality of apartheid, a system of racial segregation. In apartheid South Africa, laws were designed to keep Black people separate and powerless. Black people were forced to carry passbooks, which controlled their every movement. They could not live in certain areas, were forbidden from marrying white people, and had no rights to speak of. It was a daily act of violence against an entire people, a constant reminder that they were not considered equal. Mandela joined the African National Congress, or ANC, in 1944. He quickly became a leader, driven by a deep sense of justice. In the early years, the ANC's strategy was peaceful. They held marches, organized boycotts, and refused to follow unjust laws. Mandela was at the forefront of the Defiance Campaign in 1952, a mass civil disobedience movement where volunteers deliberately broke apartheid laws and went to jail. The government met these peaceful protests with extreme violence and new, even harsher laws. The Sharpeville Massacre in 1960 was a turning point. Police opened fire on a crowd of peaceful protesters, killing 69 people. It was a moment that shattered the hope of a non-violent solution. The ANC was now banned, and Mandela and his comrades had a difficult choice to make. They had exhausted all peaceful options. For Mandela, the path was clear: They had to fight for their freedom. He became the leader of the armed wing of the ANC, Umkhonto we Sizwe, or Spear of the Nation. Their mission was to commit acts of sabotage against government buildings, not to hurt people, but to disrupt the system. For a short time, Mandela lived as a ghost, moving from place to place to avoid capture. He was a fugitive on a desperate mission. In 1964, the government finally arrested him. At his trial, he stood tall, ready to defend his actions. He gave a powerful, 4-hour-long speech. With a clear and steady voice, he spoke about his dream for a free, democratic society where all people could live together in harmony, with equal opportunities. He told the court, "I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve, but if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." The court found him guilty and sentenced him to life in prison. He was sent to Robben Island, a harsh prison on a cold, windswept island off the coast of Cape Town. For 27 long years, Mandela was a prisoner. His cell was tiny, just 6.5 feet by 7 feet. His bed was a simple mat on the floor. He was forced to do hard labor in a limestone quarry, where the blinding light and dust damaged his eyes. The guards were cruel, and the days were endless. But inside his cage, Mandela became a living legend. He used his time to study and learn, even earning a law degree from the University of London. He became a mentor to other prisoners, teaching them and inspiring them. He was not broken, he was a beacon. Outside the prison walls, the world was watching. The international Free Nelson Mandela movement gained momentum, with protests, concerts, and boycotts held in cities all over the planet. His name became a rallying cry for justice, a symbol of the struggle against injustice everywhere. Years passed, and the pressure on the South African government became unbearable. The country was on the brink of a civil war. The government finally realized they could not continue this system. They knew they had to talk to the man they had locked away for so long. On February 11, 1990, the prison gates opened. After 27 years, Nelson Mandela walked out, a free man. You might think he would be angry. You might think he would want revenge. But he held no hate in his heart. He walked with a calm dignity, a smile on his face, and his fist held high in a gesture of solidarity with his people. He spoke with a peaceful voice, asking for calm and for all South Africans to come together. He had been a prisoner, but he was now the symbol of freedom and hope. For the next 4 years, he helped lead the country through a long, difficult process of change. He worked with President F.W. de Klerk, the very man who had presided over the apartheid government. They met, they talked, they debated, and they began to build a new country, a new future. In 1993, for their efforts, they were both awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. It was a powerful message to the world that even after decades of hatred, reconciliation was possible. In 1994, for the first time in their history, all South Africans, regardless of their skin color, could vote. Millions of people, young and old, stood in long lines to cast their ballots. The energy in the country was electric. The result was a landslide victory for the ANC, and Nelson Mandela was elected as the first Black president of a free and democratic South Africa. His presidency was not about punishment, but about healing. He created the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, a body that allowed victims to share their stories and even forgive those who had harmed them. He used sports, like the national rugby team, to unite a divided country. He showed the world that a nation could choose forgiveness over revenge. He chose to build, not to destroy. Nelson Mandela gave up his power after just one term as president. He did not want to be a ruler for life. He wanted to be a teacher. For the rest of his days, he traveled the world, speaking about peace, about fighting injustice, and about the importance of forgiveness. He taught us that freedom is not just about breaking a cage, but about living with compassion and without hate. He showed us that a single person, with enough courage and love, can change the world. His life was a long walk, but with every step, he brought us closer to a world where we can all be truly free. And so, the boy from a small village, who once herded cattle under the African sun, walked a road so long and so hard, yet he carried not bitterness, but forgiveness. He entered prison as a rebel, and he left as a symbol. He showed the world that freedom is not just the breaking of chains, it is the choice to live without hate. This is the legacy of Nelson Mandela. That peace is stronger than revenge, that love is greater than fear, and that one person's courage can awaken the hope of millions. His long walk to freedom did not end with him. It continues with us, in every act of justice, kindness, and unity we choose today. Thank you for watching this video on Mystic English. If Mandela's story inspired you, please subscribe to Mystic English so you never miss more stories that move hearts and minds. Share this video with someone who needs hope right now. And remember, every great story leaves behind a lesson. Carry this one with you. Even in the darkest prison, the human spirit can still shine brighter than the sun.